So mass of each and every particle also doesn't vary. So the total mass of the system of particles has not got any sort of variations. When it is a cross product of two similar unit vectors, it is said to be zero. So angular acceleration means the rate of change of the angular velocity, which is given as omega. Hello everyone, I'm Brinda, Faculty of Physics, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Mysuru, welcoming you all to this Chapter 7, Session 2. And today, in this class, let us study something regarding the particles' rotational motion. So here we are studying about the linear momentum. So here it is linear momentum of the system of particles. So what is meant by linear? Let us split the word. Linear momentum. Linear means something which is moving in a straight line, correct? So that is the linear. And what is this momentum? Momentum is the one which means to say it is the motion of the particles, and that particles which consist of certain mass and which is moving in certain velocity. So momentum is usually given as P is equal to m into V, where P means it is nothing but the momentum, m is the mass of the particle, and V means it is the velocity. So velocity is nothing but the vector quantity, because of which this momentum is also said to be a vector quantity. So here linear momentum of system of particles. This I discussed only for a single particle. So a single particle will have a momentum which is equal to product of mass and velocity of just a single particle. When it comes to n number of particles, that is system of particles, in an object there are n number of particles and each particle possesses a momentum. So let us calculate the linear momentum of a system of particles. Let us see how it will go. That is, we know that momentum is given by P is equal to m into V, which is a product of mass and velocity. So for system of particles, probably it is like 1, 2, first particle, second particle goes up till nth particle. We can give the momentum as P is equal to momentum of the first particle plus momentum of the second particle plus it goes up till momentum of the nth particle. So split this momentum, which can be given as m1 v1 plus m2 v2 plus it goes up till mn and vn. So this is the momentum for system of particles. So now instead of giving like m1 v1 m2 v2 goes up till mn vnth particle, instead of expanding the terms of the system of particles, we can concise it into one thing, that is positive. These are the sum, correct? So you will have to sum up the momentum of the total particles, which can be given as, this is total momentum, which is equal to summation here. So it's like summing up all the terms which is given by summation. Summation mi and vi, where your I is a variable which varies from 1 to n. Okay, so this is the total momentum. It is given in this form, that is summing up of mass as well as velocity, which can be given as summation of mi, that is mass, can be given totally as m, and summation of vi totally it can be given as V. So P is equal to capital letter M as well as V. This is the momentum for system of particles. There is certain variations from this to this, that is in letters. It is given in small letters, wherein this depicts only the momentum of a single particle. This is the momentum of single particle, wherein the last expression which we have got here, expression which is given by equation number 1, that depicts the momentum of the system of particles altogether. So you can just term it as the momentum of system of particles is equal to the product of total mass of the particle to the total velocity of the center of mass. Okay, so that is all about your linear momentum of system of particles. Now taking this linear momentum of system of particles, so we have P is equal to M into capital letter V, correct? So this is the total momentum of the system of particles, that is the total linear momentum. Now on differentiating it, on differentiating with respect to time, on differentiating with respect to time, what do we have? That is dP by dt, which is equal to mass is taken as a constant, because mass is the one which doesn't vary. So mass of each and every particle also doesn't vary. So the total mass of the system of particles has not got any sort of variation. So that is just m, which is taken out, and dv by dt. So rate of change of velocity with respect to time can be given as acceleration. So this is termed as capital letter A, and it is said to be the acceleration because it is considered for the system of particles. That's why I have given in caps A. Now it is m into A dP by dt. So this is change in momentum, right, as it is dP by dt, which is equal to mass into acceleration has got a term, that is force. According to Newton's second law of motion, force is equal to the product of mass and acceleration. So it turns out to be the force, and this is the force which is applied externally. Why? Because even the internally particles are having certain force, but according to Newton's third law of motion, the force exerted by one particle to the other particle and the same force exerted by this particle towards the other particle both cancels each other because of equal and opposite force reacting on the particles. We have F, which is said to be just external and not internal, because the internal forces cancel out each other. So the change in momentum of the system of particles is due to the external force which is applied on it. The change d by dt represents the differentiation of the momentum, that is P. So this is said to be a change in the momentum. This P means it is momentum, change in the momentum of the system of particles, because it is capital letter P. Here we are talking about the system of particles. So when that is the case, dP by dt, which is equal to, that is change in the momentum with respect to time of the system of particle, is equal to the externally applied force on the system. So suppose if the externally applied force is 0, that means F external tends to be 0, then what will be your equation? So it becomes like dP by dt, which is equal to 0. So you can say that the change in momentum is said to be a constant. When the external force which is acting on a body is zero, the change in momentum of the system of particles, that is linear momentum of the system of particles, remains constant. That's all about your linear momentum of system of particles. Now let us move to the vector products of two vectors. We have studied about the dot products or a scalar product, which is represented as A into B. This can be a dot or a scalar product. But these are the vector product. Now we are talking about vector product. That means it is a cross or a vector product. So it is known as either cross product or a vector product of two vectors which we are talking about here. That is, vector is the one which has magnitude and direction that we all know. Okay. So now we are talking about the two vectors. So let the two vectors be, let the two vectors be vector A and vector B. Okay. Suppose there are two vectors A and B which makes an angle. So this, let it be vector A and this is vector B. Consider two vectors, vector A and vector B, which is making an angle theta between the two vectors. Then, so if this is extending, so here we have a product of the two vectors. That product is represented by the third side. Correct? So this, let me consider it as vector C. So the product is given as vector C. So we are using this cross product. So the representation is like cross into. So vector A into vector B gives you a vector C. Okay. Vector C is the product vector of two cross products of vector A as well as vector B. The C gives you the perpendicular to vector A. Now, the vector C is having certain magnitude. It has got certain value. So, what it will be? Vector A is having a magnitude, that is the value of just A. So, this has a value A. Vector B has a value B. So, what will be vector C? So, if it is 2 into 3, it will be 2 into 3 is nothing but 6. So, here you can just give it as 6. Since it is a variable, A and B are the variable magnitudes of vector A and B, you can just give it as A into B. And a function, that is trigonometric function, has to be given because of the terms used over here. So it is vector A and vector B. So the magnitude of C can be said as A into B, which I have given over here. And it is along the trigonometric function, that trigonometric function which is to be given here is sine theta. So it is AB sine theta because the theta is the angle made by this triangle given over here. So it will be AB sine theta. So what is the magnitude of vector C? Vector C is the product of vector A into vector B. That is the cross product of two vectors, which is said to be vector C. And vector C's magnitude, that is variable magnitude, is A and B. So it is AB sine theta. So let us see the vector product, whether it satisfies certain properties, that is commutative as well as distributive properties. Now going to commutative property, we have vector A into vector B, which is equal to vector B into vector A. Okay, if we just look at it like this, we can just tell that it is equal because this is a commutative property. But here in the rotation cases, once it moves from A to B, that is clockwise direction, the next time it moves in anti-clockwise direction. So both are opposite to each other. So the direction, that is positive as well as the negative direction, is being given over here. So the sign changes, because of which you can say that it is not equal. Vector A into vector B is not equal to vector B into vector A because of its sign which is given over here. One will be positive, another will be negative. So this is not commutative. The commutative property doesn't hold good over here. When it comes to distributive property or distributing one variable with the other variable, so it becomes vector A plus B into C. So it is like vector A into B plus vector A into C. It is vector A into vector C. So distributive property holds good for the vector product. Why it is called a distributive property? Because one term is getting distributed to the other and the rest two terms which is given over here. And next is, let us see how it goes with the unit vectors. The vector is the one which has magnitude and directions. So when it comes to the directions, we have the plane called as x, y and z axis, wherein x-axis is associated with the unit vector I cap, y-axis is associated with the unit vector j, and z-axis is associated with the unit vector k cap. So when this is a case, we have got three unit vectors I cap, j cap as well as k cap. So when it is a cross product of two similar unit vectors, it is said to be 0. Similar it is with j cap and k cap. So the cross product of any similar unit vectors is said to be 0. Next, the cross product of two vectors, different vectors I cap into j cap gives you k cap. Okay. Next it is j cap into k cap. You get what is not here, that is I cap. Next it is k cap into I cap is equal to, it is j cap. It is like I, j and k again goes like this. I and j you have taken, which is next? It is k. Okay, so k is given over here. This is done. Next, j and k is taken. What is left is I. So j and k you get I. Next is k and I you have. What is next? It is j. So it is j. So this is how it is. So it is going in this way. This is the direction. If it comes ulta, that is the other direction. If it follows the other direction in this way. So j to I, you get the negative. So j cap into I cap, you get negative of k cap, because this is the other direction. I told you in rotation motion there are two directions which it follows, because of which we get positive and then we get negative. So now j into k, it went from j into k here in this case, but when it comes in the other opposite direction, it becomes k into j cap, which is said to be minus I cap. Similarly, I into k cap, it is going the other way. So it is minus j cap. I cap into k cap gives you minus of j cap. This is how it goes with the unit vector. I hope you're clear with the vector product of two vectors. What is its magnitude and how it is given for the unit vectors. Now let us check the angular velocity as well as the angular acceleration and just give about the torque. So here angular velocity means it is time rate of change of angular position, and angular velocity is given as omega, which can be given as rate of change of position with respect to time is said to be the angular velocity, where omega, this is termed as omega, which is known as angular velocity. We call it as omega. Okay, so dr, that is r means it is the position. So change in position with respect to time is said to be your angular velocity. Now coming to angular acceleration. So angular acceleration means the rate of change of the angular velocity, which is given as omega. Change of angular velocity with respect to time. With respect to time is said to be your angular acceleration. Here the angular acceleration is given in terms of alpha, which is equal to the change d by dt with respect to time, which is represented as t, change with respect to time. So change of angular velocity with respect to time is said to be your angular acceleration. So we know that the linear velocity as well as the angular velocity is linked with some relation which we know as v is equal to omega into r. This is the linear velocity, v is a linear velocity and omega is said to be the angular velocity. We have linear velocity as well as angular velocity for just one particle. When we consider I number of particles, not the n number of particles, here I'll be considering ith particle till the last particle. So it becomes Vi is equal to omega. Omega is the angular velocity, angle which remains constant. So the variation is given for the I. So I number of particles are having certain velocities and I number of particles which will be represented by certain distance from the axis. So if this is the axis, so here you have got some object wherein the particle is having R1 and this particle will have R2 distance. Similarly, it goes up till the last distance of the particle, that is ith particle. This is first particle, this is second particle. So this will be the ith particle and it has got Ri. The distance is I from the center of mass. Okay, so this is the axis which is said to be the center of mass. Okay, center of mass of the rotation. So here we have got the relation which links the linear velocity and angular velocity of the system of particles over here. So suppose if the particles are present in the axis over here, then the r, that is the distance from the center of mass, that is the axis, is said to be 0. So your r turns out to be 0. Then we have got v is equal to 0. So the velocity of all the particles is said to be 0. That means if the velocity of the particle which lies in the axis is said to be 0, that means there is no rotation for the axis. The axis is said to be fixed. Okay, there is a fixed axis because of the particles which is present over the axis. So that is all about your relationship between linear velocity as well as angular velocity. Having that, we just gave the particles, how the particles behave during the rotational motion. Now let us move to the torque and the angular momentum. You got to know angular velocity as well as the angular acceleration, wherein now we are moving to angular momentum. Before that, what is meant by torque? Torque is the one which causes rotational motion. So it is said to be a force which directs the rotational motion. It causes the rotational motion. That is said to be a torque of an object about one or more axis which passes through its center of mass. So a force which is applied to an object such that it undergoes rotational motion is said to be a torque. We just can't term it as force. It is a torque which is acting on a body which undergoes a rotational motion. It is a type of a force. So here torque is the moment of force motion of a rigid body in combination to rotational motion as well as translational motion. So here suppose you consider a door in a house. So you have got a door which is open. Okay. So this will be the designs which is given upon the door. Okay. So we have got hinges over here which holds the door to the wall. Okay. So what happens when you just push the door? It is the force which you are applying over here. Here is the knob which opens the door. So when there is a force, you're exerting certain force which is said as F. F is a force, so that there is a rotational motion. Door is just a rectangular block which is having a rotational motion with regard to the hinge. It is rotating, it is just moving this way, correct? So now it is the force, vector quantity force which is acting, that is applied on the door. But from where? From the axis to a point. So that is this distance which is represented as R. Because when you close the door, so much is covered, that distance is covered. When you push, it is taking a rotational motion with respect to the hinge. So the force is applied to it. So what happens? You have got your force as well as the distance from the axis to the point. So now torque is given by tau, T-A-U. It is pronounced as tau, okay. Tau is equal to F, that is force, into the distance, F into R. So this is the torque which is given for the rotational motion, okay. So that is all about the torque. So angular momentum, it is nothing but it is a property, it is the property of the rotating object. Why rotating object? Because it represents the angle always comes under some objects which rotates, which take the circular path. So this angular momentum is a property of an object. So when it is rotating, so property of the object during its rotational motion, that is said to be the angular momentum, which is given by vector L. Okay, momentum is a vector quantity and it is termed by L. L is the angular momentum. Whereas linear momentum is given by P. Don't get confused with linear momentum and angular momentum. Linear is the one wherein the object is moving in a straight path. That is linear, line, okay. But when it comes to angle, it is sweeping the angle. So it will be vector L, which is equal to the product of moment of inertia and the angular velocity. Moment of inertia as well as the angular velocity. So this is all about your angular momentum. In our next class, let us study deep about the angular momentum. In today's class, we had studied regarding the linear momentum of system of particles as well as the vector products and angular velocity, acceleration, angular momentum as well as torque. So let us meet in our next session with the same chapter. Until then, have a good day. Thank you.